It's good to go here. And the mouse is working. All right. It's here.
So, I am Jack Hawks, and this is my interpretation of balancing up my final project. The drum game is going to be quite a form and one-way trip, kind of hopefully endless, but no. The idea is to be quite updated in a older version of the game. The when the games first came out, they were always the called already.
Retro.
Yeah, retro
Okay,
style
yeah,
type game. So a always big game over type thing, and then insert the coin and start again. Over always doing the same type of thing, but always slightly different on every that would be a level. It would mostly be just however high you can get really. The audio would always be different on different platforming. Or I've already kind of decided what they'd look like. You can see there'd be the main one would be Lego brick, very very steady, but small enough to biscuit or maybe sort of sweet, breaking, allowing them to fall too far. Of course, they have a different sound on each bounce, if I can get that. But yeah, of course, there would be a background music. I hope it would be more in since when you're bouncing up with lots of different platforms that you play, then you would have to think quite fast. I think so. And so I've chosen quite a deep note there as we can. I have said action, but I doubt it would be very actiony. But yeah. The basic narrative is, as I've already said, is you keep moving up. Only a couple of different platforms, not a massive 3 or 4. If I can figure out how to get, like, I can call it a booster, making the character fly up a little bit faster, that would be great, but normally I can't get to underneath it, which is a big problem. So I put that to the side as of now. But yeah, the schools being saferable would be a giant nice move. A word that actually exists. But yeah, I do know how to do that. It's just doing it.
Yeah.
We have theme again, very old school, but like renewing. Bring you back to your olden days, kid type game, but in a more very theme. There we have all the different things, platforms. Lego brick being sturdy, the moving platform being a pullback cast, lots of different toys. Breaking platforms being like a one-time use type of thing. Of course, since it's a toy and bring back your olden days, or well, halfway around really, uh, uh, it would be like position of maybe 3, maybe 7, depending on if someone they're fooling, but I doubt that would be too far. Of course, there wouldn't be gambling since it's literally just far can you go. No sex since there wouldn't be any living creatures, it's all just toys. No drugs and sort of inanimate objects. Again, the representation of it is, well, I've already said again, but children playing olden games, how the abuse on how the outfit like it, how it's designed to be of like you're going back in time to those retro you might even watch someone else playing the game as you're thinking, oh, they're doing quite well, and then as you get your time to play, then you try and get better. You might not, you might do. Also, you hope to make a good background, but if it does go endlessly, you might accidentally get too far up from the background, which would be kind of this. The effects of game would definitely, as I'd hope, be very competitiveness as that people would go to the exhilaration of the quickness of the game. And if there's multiple people in like a but if there was some against
Oh yeah.
got this score, they got that score, and they're trying to fight against each other, but it's not really a fight exactly. Same one that I showed. Then research and I have found lots of where I was going for in researching the platform games earlier. I saw the of retro and how it's rarely coming out in these newer games, but platform seems the only one that's sticking behind. So bringing it into a 2.5D style aspect will make it look much more modern, but yet again in the style we all remember.
Yeah.
Rendering them slightly differently, but that might be quite good to go into and learn how to do. In the resources that I do have here at college, I do have everything I would need, possibly some things that I might not even need, but back at home, I won't. So that might set the time a little bit too far back. Hoping that it won't, but there's nothing we can really do about that. Then of course it's hopefully an animated style with the bouncing ball and the literal first one every animator does. And a breaking platform, a moving platform, all sorts of animation going off there. It will definitely help me learn more in animating. But you can take a long time, as I've learned to know. And so the development coaching fast pace. I'll have to learn quickly. I think that's all there is. I do have a short video.
Cool.
If this is the first thing that I'm this would show you the platforms I do already have. The hallway you can jump learn later on that you can hold.
Click on the slide, that's it, and then click and go across. And there you go.
So there were more hidden aspects in the main blueprint. So I made a separate one showing how you can go through the platforms, and later on the platforms as you saw there.
Oh yeah.
If you hold S and then jump, that you go down instead of through, which is definitely an asset. Terrible at doing this.
That's good though.
Yeah.
I like that you got a number of mechanics already working. That's cool. Yeah.
It's good. I do think that the
and what's this is like there's that.
So that glowing thing, if I pause it in a certain.
So you got a platform with a.
So the glowing thing's like the booster, but unfortunately, if I do put it on a platform, since it blocks the collision aspect, blocks me from going beneath it.
Okay.
So while I can go through the platforms, I can't go through the booster.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Whatever it's doing itself.
Yeah.
I have tried to make it so I can
pass through,
but then the collision is what's making me bounce.
Right. I see.
So
it'll wreck it.
Yeah. Get it working correctly.
Cool. Well, that's really impressive that you got that going there. That's great. Excellent. Thank you very much. That was that was really good. I think you comprehensively kind of worked through the advice that we gave to cover everything. So there's a lot of things that were being answered as I was going along. So well done. Really good explanation of everything. I think one of the things I'll go back to is like we've seen that, and the demo is really good for adding extra clarity to what it is that we're working towards. Is there any kind of lore, Jack, with like the ball, as it were? Like what is there any sort of, even though it's a ball, is there a story like behind it?
I think with a story or a telling, I think that's kind of what will be given inside your head, because as in all the retro or even playing big arcade game, there was always like a short animation before you get to start. And if I can put that in, I would possibly have the ball jumping in, and then you would start. Possibly a box that you'd always have your hidden toy. Jumps out. And so there would be a story, but the story wouldn't be given into by text. It'd be more like whatever you can build inside your head.
What I was thinking, like, because I thought I really liked it, and I also like the thing that you were talking about, like you naturally kind of went into the kids, well, what sounded like a kid's sort of bedroom or something, sat up with the toys and the biscuits and things. And I wondered if I think there's an opportunity there to have for you to build in some lore in that, like the ball. If it's about starting somewhere low and then working up to get high up into the world, the idea of these, like, bouncy balls that kids have, they always end up like lost things that you find. Whenever I clean out under the bed or where you look around your house, they're the sort of thing that you find in some dust in like some corner that has been lost at some point. So I wonder if it's something like that. And that also reminded me of this kid's book that I read to my daughter's book, which is about like the pea that gets off the plate and then goes underneath the fridge or whatever and is in all this dust. So I wonder if it's like that could be a way that it's like a story of like getting back to being found again or something. Do you know what I mean? That might be quite a nice thing. So you could start off in some dingy sort of gross area on the floor and then get up, like a goal of getting up into a nicer, like, so it gets more, maybe it starts off darker, it gets lighter, or gets the bright nicer colors or more nicer sort of quality things as you go higher up. I really like that you're talking passionately about the whole competitive gaming element as well, and that idea of encouraging gameplay through a score system. What I wonder, and again you might disagree with me, but like the idea of going up higher is great, and then what you're relying on is like procedural generation. But like you said, then you as a games developer designer lose control over the background and things like that as it goes up, because it's an infinite spawning thing. You kind of don't get to direct what happens. So my thinking was, I wonder if you'd be better off to have it, like I say, working from a low point, say it's in some grimy area, going up to a nice goal area where you get to, like, I don't know, the side or whatever it is that it gets to. And so instead of an infinite height thing, you just have a timer. So you're like working against getting the highest score in terms of getting to the goal in the quickest possible time, so that it encourages people to achieve a score system that gives you like that as a goal, and then people can try and get there faster and faster. And then it could be that you make the way that could expand is that you have different theme levels. So the next one is like, instead of in a kid's bedroom, that it's like either in a different room in the house or it's in something abstract like underwater or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it would change it up, and then you would add different platforms and stuff. Does that sound like something you might be interested in?
It's definitely a good idea. I do want to understand how the AI of Unreal would run the entirety of when you fall, how far would you then go and game over.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's, I guess, a way to learn a new way of working with AI, even if more gaming creating a new world.
Yeah, I think you could have it. You can still have that, like where you fall a certain distance and it would kill you or respawn you or whatever. But yeah, I think it's just something to consider. So yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that. It's really cool. You talked about the nostalgia and again, coming back to the theming. I think one of the things you did so well last year in your final project was you put it into a context, the game idea. Just to recap for that you put it into the context of someone in a waiting room that would be playing it. This time it doesn't have. It's just a kind of playful thing where you can play it anywhere. Right, this game. Who would play it, and why? Why would they play it? Do you think? What would be? I know you talked about young audience, but like who do you think would go towards this game?
I think it would be more of a medium adult style.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would be almost bringing the nostalgia back into how they used to play these type of games.
Yeah.
Maybe outside of home, but still definitely the arcading feel, the whole remembrance upon how that ball used to bounce.
Yeah.
How your biscuits would crack in such a neat sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's that right. So and that leads me nicely onto the next bit, which is like, is there, because we've been in the build up to this, we've been talking, there's been an excuse for myself and Jen to like to talk about the 90s. Is that like an era? Are you specifically focusing on an era that like the 90s that you're trying?
I think I'm definitely leaning towards accidentally, but kind of randomly.
I think it would tie the context down, and that's what would be really cool. So rather than just, it could be something that's just really abstract, right? So it could be like a Lego brick, and then you jump on a biscuit, and then it's like, I don't know, something else entirely different. But if you start to tie it into a chosen era, and you probably have to, you know, be careful about avoiding franchises and things, but you can make things look like they're, you know, like sort of things that are what they're supposed to be inspired by, whether it's a type of branded chocolate bar or whatever. But I think it might be a good thing to then, it gives you two things to look at, which is to how to represent things without infringing copyright and stuff like that. So it's like, it's just a nod to it, like all these, like Grand Theft Auto does it with fake car brands that are very close to the actual cars and etc. But that idea of doing that, but also then it gives you a focus of research around the era, real like depth and a lot more focus. So it's not just, oh, I'm just putting a biscuit, here's a thing, but it's actually, oh, here's a stack of pogs, or here's a, you know, Top Trumps deck from that time, or whatever it might be. So it's like, it's all tying in. Do you know what I mean? That would, I think that would be useful to do. So if you tie it down to that, it will become tighter as a project. But yeah, and I think that's really cool. So 2.5D. I think, have you got other games that you've looked at that are inspiration or acting as inspiration for this project?
I've only really found one that's extremely close to how I'm looking. But as a whole, there are lots of 2.5D games that are definitely easy to find.
Yeah.
And, most of them are just like platforming with another brand against it.
Yeah.
How that seems to be where it's going in platforming since well, quite new actually.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to add platforming with another.
Yeah.
Same with horror, like horror with sort of gunfire and all sorts.
Yeah.
Like adding acceptance, putting more details. So of course, taking that away, it would be a platform with arcade, an arcade platform.
Yeah, just like traditional. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So I think like one of the things to look into then, and you talked quite a lot about the idea of your personal interest is in developing especially your animation skills. I think there's a scope for obviously the things that you've got in there, like just the ball movement and the platformers, etc. But there's scope to add decorative animated elements just that don't affect gameplay. So in the background, where with this scenario where the ball's like elevating, going up through the map, you could have things happening in the background. Like you talked to me before about the fact you were trying to work out how to rig creatures or rig like a bird or something like this. You could almost have, maybe not as complex as rigged elements like that, but you could have things, you know, like for example, if it's a kid's toy, like one of those spinning tops or something happening in the background, or blocks falling or whatever it might be, that are just, you know, nice distractions visually that are happening. So that will give you another excuse potentially if you wanted that to like layer it a bit more. So there's like decorative animation as well as the functional stuff as in the ball, what's happening with the ball in the foreground. Yeah. And another thing to touch on just before we wrap this up is that with the 2.5D platforming thing, what Little Big Planet and other like pioneering games that in that genre did when the graphics got much better is to use the depth of field, the camera depth of field. So it kind of like you can imply there's much more going on in the background. So you could have, obviously your gameplay needs to be in the focal points, so it needs to be in focus. But if you sort of blur out the background, you can make or put either static images or make like basic models in the background that just have like a blurry sort of silhouette just to imply there's lots more going on, which would be cool. Excellent. Thank you very much. I think we've covered everything I need to. I think it's a great project, and I think I'll review the project proposal form after this, so we'll just check that and sign that off. That'll be fine. But yeah, I think otherwise, unless you have any other questions, I think we're done. Well done. Let's get this recording stopped. Video sent back to you. That's was the bit where I haven't actually been recording it.